Hey everyone. I prepared some slides on another Mac. So you're just going to look at my terminal. Just in case you're interested, my battery is 95% and it's 22 degrees on the Tmux clock. Everyone's always asking me that at work, so I thought I'd let you guys know as well. My name's Carl. I work at 7 West Media with Mandy, Kev here as well, Padma, and I'm a senior developer. I work mostly in the back end, which I love working with, mostly with Node and TypeScript, which is what I'll be using today. Why bots? At 7 West Media, we had to get up and running really quickly. We had about 4 months from start to finish to relaunch the West. When we first took it back from Yahoo, and when that kind of stuff happened, you leave lots of gaps, and we had lots of things that we needed to do quickly, and just needed an interface basically. So it needed to be easy to use as well, and widely available. And Slack is great for being widely available. It's on all of our phones and laptops and stuff like that. I've used some of our bots when I've been in like concerts and stuff, just because I need to diagnose stuff. I know the commands. And thirdly, I also just love bots. I've been using bots or working on bots since I was like 10 or 11 years old. It's a pretty long time. And that's how I learned how to write code as well. Cool, that sort of wraps up my, my preamble. Yeah, so the requirements for this. There's Node. Don't have to use TypeScript. I just love using it. You can just use JavaScript, or if for some reason you don't like using same languages, CoffeeScript. And just a Slack token as well, which you can get from Slack. So to get a Slack token, I won't spend too much time on the requirements, but if you go into a Slack, you can go into Customize Slack at the top. This is quite pivotal. Loads and loads and loads. Configure apps over here. Custom integrations. Bots. And then you can just create a bot here. And I've created like 5 or 6 on 7 West Media Slack, just to divvy them up a little bit so they're separate code bases. Right bot, yeah, sad. Cool, so this is mostly going to be a live demo on how I build bots. Before I built bots using this particular method, I dabbled with like the Slack / commands, which you can just use web APIs for, or I was using AWS Lambda for those. Those turn out to be really slow and not really great for bots. They don't usually reply within 3 seconds. There's these real artificial rate limits in Slack that you just have to learn to live with. And ended up using existing frameworks, and they were unmaintained and untyped, and I love types, just ask me. So I'm going to start off by just creating an empty directory. It's empty, just so I'm not bamboozling you. And we're just going to start off by creating a package JSON. So I'm not going to go too much into what I'm doing here. If you know what I'm doing, great. But I'm just adding in my dependencies. So I'm going to add my Slack dependency. And because I just don't like types, I'm going to add TypeScript as well. And I'm just going to initialize TypeScript. And VS Code, because it's the best editor ever. Cool, so dependency file, TS configuration file. Let's welcome and embrace the future. And let's get started. So first of all, we need an entry point to our module. And when I usually start building my bot, I usually have a reason for why I'm building it. And this is sort of just how the first step of using my framework starts off with. So we import, I believe it's this thing, config from cyclib, and that should just say it's unused. Try setup, there we go. And the great thing about this library that I put together is its configuration, all of the commands that you end up registering, getting config, setting config, all of that has type checking. So if you try to get your configuration, you'll get it back with types. If you try to set it with incorrect types, it says, no, you're an idiot. I know better. Please do this with the correct shape. So I'm going to declare my configuration, and that's just going to have a little reply thing. And I'm going to declare my base configuration. And it's going to give me some type errors saying that it's all squiggly, and it's going to be like, haha, good one. Equal sign. And then we actually use our setup function. And this little function returns 3 things that we'll use throughout our application. So it returns our get config, set config, and command registration. And we want to reuse those pretty much everywhere. Glad I've learned how to type really quickly. Oh no, quotes and semicolons. Sorry guys, I get triggered by a lot of these things. So I'm just going to quickly just turn those off. And where is it? Single quote true. There we go. Now we go and save this file. Use Prettier, everyone. If you work in a team and you use JavaScript or TypeScript or something like that, use Prettier. And whenever Prettier does something you don't like, I recommend you change your opinion. Because it beats arguing day in, day out about why you should use semicolons or why you shouldn't, whatever. Just do whatever it says, except if you're me and you don't like semicolons. I used to love semicolons, to be fair. So I'm biased. Cool. Okay, yeah, so now if we, just for example here, get our configuration, we now have a little reply object in here, which says it's a string. So for those who haven't seen TypeScript, this is a great reason for why you should use it. Types are fantastic. Cool. The next step is generally the reason why your bot has a reason to exist. I've built so many of these things, and I've just chucked one on Fenders just yesterday. Let's see, Bender, LS, and they converse the AI. So if you want to play rock, scissors, paper, lizard, Spock, send you a challenge. I'm going to choose K. Hopefully I beat the bot. I am the Roshambo Champion at work. 1! Yes! So good. Yeah, so this is the reason. So I wanted to build Roshambo, and so I created a framework to do so. And so now we know why we're building this. So after building things like this over and over again, I've come up with some idioms, just put my commands all in one place. I'm going to build a knock-knock joke thingy. So we take in that register function from our configuration module. That's from the previous directory. And we just call that with the name of our command, knock. Knock has to be one word, limitation for now, deal with it. And a description of that. So tell me a knock joke. Cool, so we still got errors because it takes 3 parameters. So the first parameter is the name of the command. So in this case here, it was ls for lizard Spock. It also just has the play command for playing regular rock, scissors, paper, you simpletons. whenever you register a command, it automatically provides a help facility for people that haven't used your bot before. So I hope you can read that. So you can get your configuration, you get the help, the stats, leaderboards. Just a shame, our good friend Kevin over there. We can get our leaderboard. Tells us how to, and he's down the bottom. And I'm up the top. Thank you very much. Yeah, so this framework does a lot of things for you, makes it really simple. And so the third parameter is our callback. And that's just going to get called every single time that your command gets called. And that has optionally 4 parameters. We're probably only going to use about 3 of them, I think, in this particular case. So it takes the bot framework, and that's what we use to send messages to users and get a list of users, a list of channels, and that sort of stuff. The actual message that initiated the command, whoops, whatever that hotkey is, I should remember that one, and our configuration, and then our parameters as well. So remember before we set that reply parameter, we also have that reply parameter here. It comes with a bunch of defaults. The original bots I built with this framework was a stand-up bot, which I probably should have mentioned before I started this. And so time zone tends to be important if you deploy it wherever. If you deploy it in a container, you end up in a node time zone space void. So you need to offset your time. We built incident management actually as well, which is really, really cool. I didn't build that initially, but I used my framework to do so. And I got lots of great feedback on this, which is why I'm sort of teaching people how to use this. And that bot is actually really cool. I would use it at work, but it might alert. No, screw it, let's do it. Just going to let everyone know beforehand. Sorry, everyone. It's going to create a channel. Test incident. And we call this bot the Fark bot, because it's like, oh fuck, there's an incident. And we go @Fark. Well, first of all, we can go @Fark raise, so it uses exactly the same framework. It's got the Kim Cry emoji. And we can go @Fark raise. And it'll ask us, it has that you can have a conversation with it. What is it? Just so no one panics. We'll just raise a severity 4 incident, just in case. And a description of the issue. Nothing to see here. Please return to your homes. And this actually creates our Jira tickets and creates our Confluence documents. So just because it's a Node server, you can hook it up to all kinds of things that you want. And that all comes from, in our case, our configuration. Great, it all worked. Look at that, URLs and stuff. Cool. Cool, so using the bot, like I said, that's how we send messages to the channel and stuff. So we'll just grab our channel so we don't have to redeclare it over and over again. And then we have on our bot, we've got a few things. We've got get users, a couple of things, IMs, which is private messages, interact. You can hook into the lower level framework just in case with the event listeners and stuff if you know what the hell they are. And then you've got direct message and post message, which is the ones you'll be using pretty much every single time. And that takes just a big object. So we give it a channel and give it a text. Who is? Look at that auto formatting. So you change your opinions. That line was getting too long. Cool. And so now that will post back to the channel who's there. We can get responses as well. We can actually ask, as you saw before, that was asking for prompts. And that's just a little callback, a little function that we can get from cyclib called read message. And this takes the bot instance, and it also takes the username and an options object, which I will leave Okay, it takes a timeout, which I think is in seconds. Let's give myself more time. I don't like working under pressure. And that'll come back, hopefully, actually, I hope you're all aware of async await, the greatest invention ever in JavaScript. A promise of a string, which is the user response. And it times out as well, just in case you don't respond in time. So then we go bot post message, channel, and now to start text. Also with the text, you can also specify attachments and make it all nice and pretty. For another example of the text, we've got our content feed in this channel, which is all nice and formatted, so you get fields and amazing array of colors, green, red, and yellow, all your favorites, and little footers and formatted links and that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, anyway, so you get a whole bunch of options on the actual post message function. What else do you get out of curiosity? Holy crap! Okay, let's forget those. So I'm pretty sure it's how you respond to a knock knock joke, right? It's just who, right? Person who. Right, yeah, cool. And then we're just going to await a read message here. Also, maximum kudos to Blake for this idea for knock knock jokes. The bot and the user, and we actually don't really care. Let's go timeout 30. We don't actually care about this response. Actually, maybe we do. Punch line. There we go. Cool. And that's the extent of our basic command. I probably should have been talking more to keep you guys a bit more interested in what I was doing there. But so that's just a basic conversation, how it looks in my framework. Cool. And now we need to plumb it all together. So we've got a really basic configuration and a really basic command. Just so we don't have to import every single command every single time. Let's create one little entry point for that. And then our entry point. So this just runs the server, and this gets really complicated. So yeah, I've got 2 minutes, so that should do. All right, so import the config, that has to run. Import the commands, which I think was CMD. And then import start. Okay, hope I haven't lost anyone here. And then we start the server. Okay, so that's it. Cool, so that's how it all gets plumbed together. That's actually it. Now we can just demo the bot. I need to find a Slack token from somewhere. I should have one somewhere. Actually, I'll just pinch one. And then I'll just have to kill it later. Carl as a service. I'm not available 24/7, so there's a bot that just replaces me when I'm not available. So all we need to do one time when we start up this bot is give it its token, which it will use to connect. From that point on, it will remember it forever. It actually uses something called web-scale DB, which was invented about 50 years before Alan Turing invented computer science, which he based his research on. Used JSON files well ahead of its time. It's amazing. We need to compile this project too. Let's see if we can get it actually running. First time, no issues. Cool. Yes. Okay, then we go to over here. I tested my bots on Kevin over there. There's me testing it before. Oh, that's no fair. Oh, anyway. Actually, what was the command I registered? I can't remember if it was knock or knock knock. It was knock knock. Cool. So just to prove that actually registered through this instance of the bot, we just get some really poor man's logging in the console. And I better reply quickly because we remember to set the 30-second timeout. Anyone got a knock-knock joke? I don't have any offhand. Anyone? Crap. Okay. Knock, knock. Anyone? Someone? Orange, okay. Okay, now the bot's asking you questions.
Aren't you going to let me in? Just have this go $40, right?
There we go. Great. So yeah, that's how I've been building bots using Cyclib. So I've iterated on this several times. You get some other great little features where you can, I think, get your configuration, get reply. You don't have to restart it to go and set your configuration.
Does that then go back and update the file with your configuration?
WebScale DB, yeah, and it replicates across galaxies, yeah. We can also just set the, like we've got those built-in functions as well, so set emoji, what's a good emoji? Skeptical, because I know none of you believe me. Look at that, see? Yeah, so now we go through that knock-knock joke. We can now, we just, okay, that was a lot of pressure put on the audience there for knock-knock jokes. Now that we've changed the config, and that was way better according to the bot. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's how to build a Slack bot. Very quickly, I brought up GitHub before of the bot starter. This entire talk I've actually put into a repo from a README, which I was just actually reading from verbatim every single step of the way, because none of this is original, where I've given this these instructions again, like why every single step exists. So that's just that 1000 team. I hope you can see that 1000 team / bot starter. It's just an in-joke why it's called 1000 team. And the Slacklib itself is on my GitHub, which is /psycho and slacklib. So all that's all open source. I'm not stealing your secrets or listening to you. Cool.